Zambia will, from 6th to 8th June 2023, host the 22nd Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit. Now, the summit will be preceded by the meeting of the Committee of Ministers of Foreign Affairs on June 6th and COMESA Business Forum and exhibition on June 7, 2023. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on this special program where we'll be giving you updates on the upcoming COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit. My name is Amos Zulu.
Hello, my name is Juliet Mtele, and thanks for joining us, viewers. Now, today on the program, our colleague Aaron Kamanga interviewed the COMESA Secretary General Chileshe Kapwepwe on the upcoming summit and, of course, on the highlights of the summit. Let's take a look.
Madam, welcome to the interview.
Thank you.
To set the ball rolling, briefly tell us about COMESA and its mandate.
Well, thank you. I'll start by saying that COMESA was originally formed as the preferential trade area for Eastern and Southern Africa, known as PTA, in 1981, and then later transformed into the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, which is COMESA, in 1994. It has 21 member states, ranging from as far north as Tunisia to as far south as Eswatini, with a population of over 600 million people, and is one of the 8 recognized regional economic communities recognized by the African Union. For us, our mandate is really to support our member states to transform their economies for sustainable development, but anchored on trade. So our mandate focuses on areas around trade facilitation, looking at harmonized development of infrastructure, looking at investment promotion into the region, which is also harmonized, and also industrialization and agriculture. We also include gender, and in that division we look at the inclusion of economic activities for youth and women, and also have an element of governance, peace and security.
And then how does COMESA apply to the region with a focus on Zambia?
Now, Zambia is a landlocked, although they like to say landlinked these days, country with 8 neighbors. Which is it's a natural positioning which Zambia should take advantage of. And I think that being a member of an economic bloc for Zambia really brings the benefits of harmonization of trade regimes, trade rules, regulations across the region, which means you are going to have trading with 8 different partners, for example. But if you have the same common rules and regulations, because you are part of a common region, that really does enhance Zambia's potential for export and trade in goods and services. We're also a transit country because you have goods passing through the country within the region. Again, it would be good for Zambia to engage not only bilaterally with neighbors, but through a regional bloc like COMESA.
And then what success stories can you tell us about Zambia with regard to COMESA?
Well, Zambia firstly is the host country for COMESA, so that already puts it in that position of it has the host. The institution is actually anchored right here in Zambia. Zambia then can take advantage, as I said, of harmonization of a number of requirements. For example, take the COMESA yellow card, which people know as an insurance facility, which a truck driver can obtain in Zambia and use it across the entire COMESA region. And therefore, he's not having to stop in each country and get additional insurance or particular insurance for that country. So I think for Zambia, it's important that they belong to this economic bloc. On so many other areas, even capacity building, sharing experiences, sharing common border development, like I would say, talk about later. So I think that Zambia is really very well positioned to be an active member of COMESA.
And then a follow-up question could be, what major projects or activities have you carried out in Zambia, apart from the yellow card?
Okay. The European Union is one of our major funders, and they've had funding to Zambia, which, for example, one cycle would be something like 6.8 million euros, which looked at firstly it was direct budget support to the country, but then that involved into program support. Under program support, a number of programs were facilitated, and these are grants. These are not where Zambia is paying back. These are grants. So they do benefit from areas of, for example, under RISM. We have specific programs to support SMEs, increase their productive capacity. We have other areas of support. For example, if you go to Kanakantapa, you'll find a project that was launched, which actually had the pleasure to launch a few years ago, on cassava processing and value addition. So instead of the women just getting the cassava, they are able to produce starch or cassava in other formats. So that's value addition. There's also some programs in the cotton sector. It's one based in Mumbai, one in Cabo, and one in Kitwe. Again, to just try and support the productive capacity of these SMEs so that they can become more productive and they can take advantage of the wider market rather than just Zambian markets. Because as I said, we are surrounded by 8 countries. We should take advantage of a wider market. So these are some of the things. But the major ones, of course, include development of infrastructure. I think this was a facility which is over $4 million. Again, we're looking at one-stop border posts. We have one in Chirundu. We have just commissioned one in the Mwami Mchinji, Malawi, Zambia. It's a beautiful infrastructure. I'm sure if it was covered, it was commissioned by both presidents of Zambia and Malawi. So such infrastructure are benefits, direct benefits of being part of this COMESA region. We also have capacity building. For example, in statistics, almost $800,000 spent on building the capacity of statistics in Zambia through the ADB and other sponsors. So a lot of other areas like development of policy or strategies. We have trade policy, which we helped to support the government to develop a trade policy, an export strategic policy, and also policies around investment promotion. So it's not just the hard infrastructure, it's also the policy formulation.
Yeah, and then I'm sure as people are watching, they're just wondering, COMESA, is it COMESA market? So COMESA market is well known in the country, and how do you distinguish between the regional body and the market?
All right, so the regional body, as I said, is hosted by the Zambian government, graciously hosted, which way we're sitting right now, headquartered here in Lusaka. And it's a corporate body that is mandated through the COMESA Treaty to carry out the functions of the common market. So that's the headquarters of COMESA sitting here as in the headquarters. Then right adjacent to us, we have what we call now the COMESA market, which is a designated market and a trading area for members, states, citizens from the COMESA countries to be able to come and access an area where they can trade. It's well known for its variety of goods, of people, across not just Zambian traders, but from the region. So that's a designated market, which also supports just small-scale traders and other members of COMESA to be able to have a platform where they can bring their goods and be able to trade and earn an income.
On the 8th of June, Zambia will host the COMESA Summit of heads of states and government. And what does the hosting of the COMESA Summit mean to Zambia?
Well, Zambia will be a focus of the 21 member states. As you know, the actual summit on the 8th will be the heads of state summit. But that will be preceded by a meeting of the foreign affairs ministers on the 6th of June to look at issues around peace and security within the region, and then they will report into the main summit. In between these two meetings, we'll have a business forum, which again will involve business people from across the 21 member states. So this is bringing in a number of people who will be coming to Lusaka. That positions Zambia to showcase their tourism potential, other areas of investment, So it's a chance, an opportunity for Zambia to engage across the region with different players in different sectors. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to make even just the initial contacts and also to sell themselves as a country, as an investment destination.
All right. And then what do we expect from the summit?
So the actual summit, the heads of state will receive the reports, one from the ministers of foreign affairs on the state of peace and security within the region. They'll be able to pronounce themselves on that. They'll also receive a report from the business forum, which will be an engagement of private sector and public sector, so that those issues which are brought out can be taken to the notice of the heads of state. What are the issues? Where do they want the focus? What is private sector saying about how we can then move forward? Policy formulation, other issues where there are bottlenecks, which they may want the heads of state to look at. And then I will be making a report on the integration, state of integration of COMESA, based on our medium-term strategic plan, which was launched at the last summit that we held in Cairo in Egypt. And so that they are appraised on where the developments are, where the challenges are, and they can give direction and other pronouncements that they may wish to make, not only to the COMESA Secretariat, but to the entire region at large. We will also, at the end of it, of course, have a communique, which will really encompass all the decisions and directives and pronouncements by the heads of state, which will then be circulated for everybody's information.
All right. And then what do we intend to achieve at the end of the summit?
Before I come to that, maybe just to also emphasize that Zambia has not hosted the summit as the host since 1997. And during this meeting, Zambia then becomes the chair. So the heads of state, His Excellency the President, becomes the chair of the authority of COMESA. So for the next year or so, during his tenure, he will be representing COMESA at any continental regional forum. He'll be speaking on behalf of the 21 countries, which gives Zambia a very, a position that is recognized as leading in matters of trade and in this region, which is something commendable. Secondly, what it will mean also is that if there are any other outstanding issues that we want to have a common position on, that can be addressed during this meeting. But also for Zambia, as I said, they can position themselves, sell themselves in terms of the tourism sector, other sectors where they need to engage, increase their cooperation within the region itself. So those are some of the outcomes which we expect from the summit itself.
And finally, Madam, what would be your concluding remarks?
I would say that regional integration is a very important aspect of development for any country. Our individual member states have, some are at various development stages, some are large economies, some are small economies, but if they come together and they're integrated, the market widens. It's not just the Zambian market. You can look across and widen your market, your export capacity, your potential to produce more because you're talking to a larger market. And they can really anchor on trade as a means of development. So this is an opportunity to deepen that integration so that we have a commonality with our neighbors and we can better trade with ourselves.
Well, Madam, thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Aaron Kamanga there talking to COMESA Secretary General Chileshe Kapwepwe on the upcoming COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit. Now, Juliet, this summit follows COMESA Policy Organs meeting on Intergovernmental Committee and Council of Ministers, which was held right here in Lusaka in 2022.
Yes, Amos, and this time around over 3,000 delegates from the 21 COMESA member state are expected in Zambia. Obviously something huge, something enormous, as all roads will lead to the Mulungushi International Conference Center at the KK wing. Something so big.
Yes, Juliet, very big event for the country. You cannot take this for granted, and obviously the spotlight will be on Zambia And we expect that a lot of foreign exchange will be coming into the country, Juliet. The hospitality industry, the tourism industry are expected to benefit from this summit.
Amos, I must mention that every well-meaning entrepreneur should take advantage of this summit to expand their investment. And also, Amos, the country will be assuming, or rather taking over, the chairmanship of COMESA, something so interesting. I think the last time Zambia chaired the COMESA Summit was in 1990. Yes.
Yeah, so Zambia will be taking over the chairmanship of COMESA from Egypt.
Exactly.
And we expect that as delegates are coming to Zambia, they should also sample our delicious traditional foods.
Of course.
Like lumanda. Yeah.
Kalembla.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so on that note, we come to the end of this program. Until we meet next time, on behalf of my co-host, Juliet Mutale, my name is Amos Zulu. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.